Dictionaries. Dictionaries in Python. It's a type of variable that keeps track of keys and values. And the way a dictionary is laid out in your code in Python is with a name of your choice. In this case, I named it Author Book Dictionary. And then an equal symbol if you're setting it equal to some initial set of values. And in the curly braces, we have a bunch of things separated by commas. What are the things, you might ask, that are separated by commas here? Well, they are key value pairs. So right there's a pair of two things. A pair of there, that is a key value pair with the key on the left and the value on the right. I remind you of that in this comment here, this hashtag comment, key value with a colon in the middle. In this worksheet, the keys and values are authors and books, respectively. So let's proceed with tracing and analyzing this code. Number one, what is the book that matches up with the author, Jane Austen? In other words, what's the value stored in the position identified by Jane Austen? So I have a volunteer in this period 11 class. Sophia? You got it. Emma. So for this year, at least, I don't mind if you put that without the single quotes around it, but it might actually print out in Python with single quotes. I actually forget. No, it doesn't. In our current editor, we're using Replit. But so there's the answer to number one. Emma is the matching value that matches the key Jane Austen. Exercise number two in this worksheet study guide. Well, I'm choosing a variable name, author list. I could have named that anything like X. And I'm setting author list equal to the list of keys. So by using parentheses and calling the keys method that's built into Python, the keys method pulls the keys out of the dictionary. And remember, the keys are the things here on the left of the colons. So we have the set of keys: Charles Dickens, Mark Twain, Jane Austen, Emily Bronte, and Daniel Defoe. Please, as your answer to number two, you might need to write very small. Please list all of those keys separated by commas and enclosed in sets of single quotes with a set of square brackets around the whole list, because that's actually the way Python would type it out. So there you are, folks that are watching this video. There is the answer to number two. It's a list of keys from the dictionary variable that's at the top of this worksheet. Number three, the question is asking you what prints out when you print the len of author list. Well, author list is the answer to number two. And the length, the len, like we studied len before, the length of that list, oh, is it 4 or is it 5? When you count the length of something in Python, do you start counting at 1 or 0? Does anybody know in this period 11 class? Or want to go on record, Stephen? Wrong, sorry. It's for length, you start counting at 1. Later, you'll see where we count at 0. So the answer to number 3 is indeed 5. It's the number 5, simply. The length of that list is 5. As Charles Dickens is 1, Mark Twain is the 2nd, Jane Austen's the 3rd entry, and so on. Now, number 4, that's what perhaps the student a second ago was getting confused with. When you print a specific entry, a specific element of the list, and you use square brackets, because of that notation, we really, I should point out here with a little drawing, that's considered position 0, that's considered position 1, 2, Emily Bronte is in position 3, Daniel Defoe's in position 4. So for exercise 4, we want to print author list square brackets 0. Hey, Nathan, what entry there is in position 0, and therefore the answer to number 4? You got it, Charles Dickens. So whether you're printing this with your pencil or you're in Notability doing this on, say, a school iPad, make sure the answer Charles Dickens is in there for the exercise number 4. Cool, looks like I have a volunteer for number 5. And number 5, I'm printing author list 2. And Rory. Oh, okay, what's your question? Backing up, question number 4.
Do you need a little guide to put in for Charles Dickens?
Are you saying, do you need the little apostrophes around Charles Dickens?
Yeah, but you also have a little dot.
No, that dot was just a typo of mine. I was covering it up by putting the C over top of it. No, you're being too attentive. There, I'm going to delete that because you're right, that was sloppy. And for some reason, it didn't delete there. And I'm having trouble deleting that little dot. So you know what? I'm going to use my eraser tool. Make this long video even longer. There. So anyway, now I forgot what was the answer of Rory to number 4.
Quotes, Charles.
Yeah, it would be safe to put the quotes there. I'm not sure if our version of Python, the editor, prints the quotes there. I think it wouldn't, but that would make it very clear. So I wouldn't mind if you had those or not. Number 5. Yes, Rory.
Jane Austen.
Correct. Position 2 is Jane Austen. Since Charles Dickens was 0, Mark Twain was position 1. So we've got Jane Austen, perhaps with single quotes around it to be very clear. And now number 6 on this worksheet. In number 6, we've stored the values of the dictionary variable in a variable named book title list. So there's a variable called author list, but now there's a variable called book title list. And values, as opposed to the keys method, the values command in Python picks off the right-hand side of the colon, what we call the values. Perhaps you think of this as the right socks, not to be confused with the left socks. So yeah, this is a lot of typing here, or is it? Oh, we're only printing position 1, not the whole list of book title list. Only position 1. So which book here on the right-hand side, Judah, would position 1 be based on the numbering scheme that we would use in Python? You got it. This is the answer to number, whatever exercise I'm on there. Yep, answer 6 is The Adventures of Huck Finn, perhaps with single quotes around it so that we know that the spaces and all are part of that entry. So values is the way of pulling out the values, the right-hand side of the colon, and keys is the way to pull out the left-hand side. Number 7, that's a lot of work. I gave you a big area on the worksheet. If you print the whole dictionary and not just the keys or the values, and not just one position like square brackets 0, if you're printing the whole dictionary, well, I'm sorry, but I can copy and paste, and you probably cannot because you're on an old-fashioned worksheet, a piece of paper and with a pencil. But there is your answer to number 7 in black ink. Do the best you can, printing it out neatly and fitting it in the box. But it's all of the keys and the values with colons and commas because that's considered the whole dictionary. And I'm pretty sure Python does print these curly braces. Yep, it does. I just checked somewhere else. So there's your answer to number 7. So there you go, in case you're watching the worksheet and copying that down. Hey, number 8 on this worksheet, there's this pop command. The pop command, the pop method in Python, when applied to a dictionary, removes a whole entry in the dictionary. So let's check it out. Mark Twain. If you pop Mark Twain, you're actually removing this whole area that I have highlighted right now. Meaning that there is no book called Adventures of Huck Finn, nor is there the author, Mark Twain, in the dictionary any longer. So after that pop, if you do a list of the keys and then print that list, well, you should have a list that starts with Charles Dickens, then Jane Austen, Emily Bronte, and Daniel Defoe. So you're probably already copying the answer down here. I will rejoin you after I type it out. So there's your answer to number 8, the list of keys after Mark Twain was popped. Hey, number 9, what is considered to be in position 2 right now of author list? Well, position 2 would be Bronte. Because the numbering now, that would be 0, that would be 1, that would be 2, and of course 3. So there's the answer to exercise 9. Emily Bronte, perhaps with a set of single quotes around it, just to make sure people know it's a first last name combination as a whole author name. When you pop somebody from a social media contact list, everybody else typically moves forward one notch, and that would change the numbering scheme. So whatever author used to be in position 2 is now in position 1, and whoever used to be in position 3 might have moved forward to position 2, depending on what you popped. And number 10, quite complicated. Follow along. Number 10, the very powerful command clear clears the whole library, the whole dictionary. And then with these 3 lines of code, I'm restocking the library with books. A book, an author, a title, J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter. Then George Orwell and Animal Farm, etc. But then for some reason, I chose to pop J.K. Rowling. So when I do the keys here and turn that into a list, and then print author list, what's the list that prints after all of that coming and going? Stephen. Very good. George Orwell, he said, in case the video couldn't hear it. Spelled correctly, of course, here as I type it out. And Dr. Seuss. So there is an answer. Does anybody in the room disagree? If not, I'm moving on to 11. Oh, yes, Kayla.
D and S.
Oh, good eye. Attention to detail. I like that, even late in the day like this. You've been warmed up. Correct. There's no reason why the Python would change that uppercase D to a lowercase d for no reason at all. And the computer certainly would not abbreviate. So a student that abbreviates is, well, just hoping that the teacher is going to get full credit. And last of all, number 11. Number 11 is sort of a bonus. It's doing 2 or 3 things all in one step, one line of code. So let's work from inside the parentheses out. Author book dictionary.keys is this part right here, George Orwell and Dr. Seuss. If we turn that into a list, it's adding square brackets to it, and then position 1 of that list of keys. What value is in position 1, and therefore what prints out based on the print command in exercise 11. Scott.
Dr. Seuss.
You got it, Dr. Seuss. So that's a wrap on this worksheet. I'm going to do one slow pan up in case you're in the year 2025 watching this video, copying the answers down, getting ready to submit it to some inbox of the future when everybody else is digital, but there's still a paper inbox here in room 311. No way. We'll be using iPads, Chromebooks, or some electronic way of doing it. Probably we will be submitting our answers via Alexa. Alexa, what is a dictionary in Python?
Here's what I found on geeksforgeeks.org. Dictionary in Python is an unordered collection of data values used to store data values like a map. It contains key value pairs.
Thank you, Alexa, but we already knew that because we paid attention to this video.